The end of a semester unlike any other is in sight. Hello, this is KMVC News. I'm Marina Diaz. 30 days remain in the 20 fall term that has seen COVID upend and change much of what Missouri Valley can do. And those 30 days include finals. More on Valley's condensed schedule in a minute. But first, this week's COVID-19 case count is in single digits for the second consecutive week. Missouri Valley is reporting 5 active cases this week, representing 0.29% of the overall campus population. That's up from a week ago, but still among the lowest reports of the semester. The Missouri Valley COVID dashboard is accessible through moval.edu. Had the 2020 semester gone as originally planned, this week would have been fall break for the students on campus, but the academic calendar looks different due to COVID-19. In a written statement, Vice President of Academic Affairs, Diane Bartholomew, said that the 3 components that influenced the decision-making process was the health and safety and quality educational experience and environment of the students, and making sure that Missouri Valley was in compliance with all laws and regulations, such as those required by the CDC and financial aid. Professor Harry Carroll says that he likes the fact that we are missing most of the bad flu season.
Condensing everything down, though, is kind of hard, especially on the kids. But the thing on me was switching over to the new learning platform. That was an absolute nightmare. It came in so quick, that with the COVID and the split classes. And the split classes makes it, I just don't feel like I'm doing as good a job as I can, because I've got some kids face-to-face, some kids online, and then it switches back and forth.
Students are feeling the changes as well.
The short semester with no breaks is actually pretty good. It gives us the ability to get all of our homework done quick, but the downside is not being able to go home and see our family.
The changes to the academic calendar includes a longer winter break and no spring break for 21. The new calendar is on the academic page on moval.edu. The Missouri Valley College has done a haunted house in Blosser Hall for the past 3 years, bringing the Halloween spirit to Moval and giving its students an evening of smiles and screams. KMVC's Leland Harvey reports the haunted halls are going to be quiet on All Hallows Eve.
Blosser Hall's haunted house helps add some October fright to the students at Valley, but due to COVID-19 protocols, Blosser is putting a hold on the festivities. Blosser Hall coordinator Gabby Morales was in charge of the event last year. She says the event received a lot of positive feedback and ideas for 2020, but due to COVID,
Blosser Haunted House has been happening since 2017. We're all looking forward to doing it again this year, but unfortunately with COVID-19 we weren't able to do so.
Blosser's haunted house is operated by the students who live there, and the students who live there missed out on their chance to be scary this year. Missouri Valley student and last year volunteer Mikai Ali speaks on not getting to scare people.
I don't get to scare people this year, and I don't get to see people's faces of them to being scared. Participating in the Blossom Haunted House is very fun. You get to decorate the whole basement the way you want it, how you like to do it, make it scary as you want it. It's gonna be a pretty sad day, because we're not gonna get to do it this year because the whole COVID-19 process.
Next year, we will see if the haunted house can make a comeback. Leland Harvey, KMVC News.
Marshall doesn't have any governmental restrictions on Halloween activities so far, but events like the Missouri Valley wrestling team's trick-or-treating for canned food donations are affected by COVID. The Drive for Valley's canned food drive is next week on KMVC News. The Missouri Valley football team opened the conference portion of its season on the 17th against the Central Methodist Eagles in the Heart of America Athletic Conference. Conference games are the interdivisional games, so the games against teams in the Heart's Southern Division. CMU took the opening drive 66 yards for the opening score, but fumbled deep in its own territory on its second possession. Valley scored 2 plays later on an 8-yard pass from Ryan Albiani to Isaac Bosley to knot the game at 7. The Eagles put 13 on the board in the second quarter, courtesy of a few Missouri Valley turnovers to carry a 20-7 lead into the half. The Vikings had a pair of third-quarter field goals, but couldn't get into the end zone and drops the game 23-13. Valley falls to CMU for the third consecutive season and travels to play the Baker Wildcats on October 24th. The Missouri Valley men's soccer team had its game postponed Saturday due to COVID protocols on the Culver-Stockton campus. The makeup date for the game is set for November 11th, along with the women's game against Culver. The team sits at 7-2-1 and tied for first place in the Heart of America Athletic Conference. The Missouri Valley women's soccer team's first game since September 26 was a 1-0 victory over the William Penn Statesmen. Valley defender Natalia Ruiz scored in the game's first minute, and that's all the Vikings would need. Valley held William Penn to just one second-half shot and outshot the Statesmen 20-1. Valley improves to 4-1 on the season. Next on the tentative schedule is on the road against Baker on October 20th. The Missouri Valley women's volleyball team earned its first conference win since 2018 with its 4-set win against Baker on October 16th. The first 3 sets were all decided by 2 points. The fourth and deciding set had a 4-point spread. Valley's Hallie Hill had 16 kills and was in on 3 blocks on the night. Brooklyn Evans had 18 digs in the win. Valley's last conference win was a sweep of Culver-Stockton on October 18th of 2018. The Missouri Valley Flatliners had an October show on October 13th. Due to COVID-19 protocol, the MVC Flatliners are taking measures to keep social distancing. KMVC's Sakina Komoro reports how different these shows are in this situation.
Due to COVID pandemic, Missouri Valley Flatliners are required to take some measures, such as limiting seats and letting both performers and audiences have 6 feet social distancing. A professor of theater, Harlow Hennick, says it is challenging for student performers to have social distancing while they are acting.
We don't have pre-planned blocking, so everybody has to be aware of where they are in relationship to everyone else at all times. And so we use these tape marks that we have on the floor to help give us certain guidelines with that.
Due to these measures Flatliners take, performers have to act in a different way than before COVID pandemic. A senior performer, Tina Lee, says that the measures to avoid spread of COVID-19 makes the performance different when acting.
We were able to do shows together where everyone's close together and scenes are done with a lot of touching, but nowadays it's a lot of voice, it's talking, and then we've had a lot of bigger movements where we can't do small things together, but we have to do big movements together.
Student performers keep working on their performance, keeping social distancing to avoid the spread of COVID. Sakina Kamuro, KMVC News.
The next Flatliners show is the Oktoberfest show on October 20th in Morris Experimental Theater. Students have to bring their MVC student IDs and masks. And that's KMVC News for this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Marina Diaz.